Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here at 7 o'clock on The Wax. Today is Wednesday. It's February 5th. I'm Caitlin Francis.
I'm Tracey McCain. All right, let's get your morning started with a peek outside. You will love this. A live look in New Haven and Mystic, the calm before the storm.
Yeah, we've been seeing some really stunning sunrise shots as well across the state. Again, we know tomorrow will be that first alert weather day because we're expecting kind of a mixed bag. So Jill's got the very latest on the timing and what we can expect throughout the day.
Yeah, it is going to be breaking out right as the sun comes up, basically.
Wow.
So this time tomorrow, of course, Scott Gilardi will be in and tracking that snow breaking out initially, and then it's going to transition to an icy mix and perhaps end as a little bit of rain across southern Connecticut. And then we have another first alert weather day late weekend, so a lot to get to. But in terms of the snowfall expected with this upcoming system, a couple of inches, maybe a locally higher amount near 4 inches inland, down towards the shoreline where you will see some mixing. We're talking about a coating to 2 inches, and then there's going to be a flip to some ice. We're talking about briefly sleet and maybe even freezing rain, which is rain that freezes on contact, creating a glaze of ice. As we take a look at the big story today, though, it's the cold feel. It is painfully cold outside this morning, single digits to teens for that feels like temperature. Yes, we've had a beautiful sunrise out there, Old Saybrook, and if you have plans to head out to go for a walk outside to get some cardio in, well, plan on it feeling very cold throughout the day. But those teens will generally warm to the low 20 to mid 20 degree feel as we progress through today. So looking, cold, but a beautiful day. Yes, the calm before the storm. We'll get you into some more details regarding those two upcoming first alert weather days in just a few. Caitlin?
All right, thanks, Jill. Let's get you an update on those roads here. 7:02 on your Wednesday. Majority of the state nice and quiet out there. No crashes. We haven't had a crash all morning, so fingers crossed we stay that way for the remainder of your morning commute. But again, no major incidents to talk to you about. And that daytime construction that we expect to pick up between about 8:30 and 9 o'clock. You can see live look outside here in Hartford, 91 north and southbound, Middletown along Route 9. Things still doing pretty well there as you're approaching the light. Here is the in and out of the Mixmaster. In Waterbury, we're looking at traffic heading towards the eastbound side here. And in Meriden at 691 east and westbound, things are very, very smooth sailing out there to start. Let's get you your drive times as you're getting ready to hit the road here. Normal delays, actually just about an 80-minute 95 southbound New Haven to the George Washington Bridge. So that's actually doing pretty well. Let's quick check at your Connecticut Chevy First Alert traffic report driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers.
All right, let's get right back to our breaking news right now, where a fire has forced a family of 5 out of their home in the middle of the night.
This all happened again in New Britain, right on Austin Street, and that's where we find your reporter Olivia Schuler live on the scene. Olivia, what's the latest?
Well, Kaylee and Tracey, this home is completely destroyed. The fire officials here tell us that it is a loss at this point. You can actually see through the home from the part that's facing the road all the way towards the back. As you mentioned, 5 people are displaced this morning. We're told 4 adults and 1 child. You can see the fire marshal right now is talking to the homeowner of the home next door. So this yellow home to your left of the home that was on fire this morning, the siding of the home is melted off. That goes to show just how strong the flames were from the home where the fire was taking place to put so much damage onto the home next door. Now, this call came in around 3:30 this morning. That's when crews got out to the scene, and there was heavy fire in the back of the home. Fortunately, there were smoke detectors that were working and alerted the family to get out. Once again, 5 people are now displaced. Now, there was some challenges for firefighters this morning. You can see that there's ice over the road here. That's because when they were using their hoses and they got down to the surface, it froze over. So it can be really slippery for fire crews when they're quickly trying to respond. But fortunately, it doesn't sound like anyone fell in this incident. So that is some good news that fire officials didn't have too many problems with the cold temperatures, just something that they did have to be mindful of. Right now, we don't know the cause of this fire. That's what the fire marshal is here to do and determine. Your reporter in New Britain, Olivia Schuler, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, Olivia, thank you. 7:05. Happening today, a man accused in the connection to an accidental shooting of a 2-year-old back in the summer in Monroe will be facing a judge. Police say Keith Brown, one of 2 people involved in that incident that left that child with gunshot wounds to both their hand and foot. Thankfully, the child is just fine, but that man, Brown, arrested back in December, he's facing multiple firearm charges today.
Right now, a Norwalk detective is on administrative leave after being accused of hitting and killing a man on a bicycle. Officials say Detective Andrew Ronsiski was driving an unmarked police car on Connecticut Avenue Monday night. They say the cyclist, Manuel Bonilla Gomez, did not stop at a red light and was hit by the car and died. The detective has been with the department for more than 10 years, and state police are now investigating.
All right, 7:06 here on The Wax. I'm Roger Suzanne checking in live at the First Alert Desk. You know, many people woke up this morning and learned about a series of shocking statements that President Donald Trump made about the Middle East. The most stunning, he says the U.S. will eventually own the entire Gaza Strip. Now, Trump proposed taking over the Strip after a meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday. The president says the Palestinians who live in Gaza right now should just resettle in other countries in the Middle East. Trump says the U.S. could level all of the damaged buildings and actually make Gaza safe. He's already, he says, thinking big.
We have an opportunity to do something that could be phenomenal. And I don't want to be cute. I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East.
This morning, the leaders of a bunch of different Arab countries are bashing that idea as preposterous, although Prime Minister Netanyahu says the proposal should at least be considered. Caitlin, Tracy, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Raj. Happening right now, the United States Postal Service has stopped accepting certain packages from China and Hong Kong.
That announcement came from the Trump administration last night, leading to many questions this morning about your online orders. Your reporter Marcy Jones is in West Hartford explaining how this could impact you at home.
While the USPS didn't give a specific reason for the suspension within their announcement, it did come just hours after President Trump announced his move to end duty-free handling of small packages like this worth up to $800. Now, it will affect about 3 million packages coming in every single day from China and Hong Kong. Here are 3 important factors to note of the changes for USPS customers. Letters and flats are not included in this suspension. The suspension of parcels from China and Hong Kong is immediate. No word on how long the suspension will last. Impact will likely be seen with small items from places like Amazon, Temu, and Shein. Anything currently in transit could be significantly delayed from those companies. No word on FedEx or DHL services taking the same steps as USPS. Again, unfortunately, there's no timeline on how long this could last. Your reporter in West Hartford, Marcy Jones, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Happening today in Hartford, community-based organizations launching the Connecticut Right to Vote campaign.
The campaign aims to allow thousands of lawful permanent residents and immigrant parents the right to vote.
Advocates say people who live, work, and pay taxes here in Connecticut need to be included in the democratic process.
Organizers will formally launch the campaign this morning at the Capitol at 11. Also today, Governor Lamont will unveil his state budget proposal, and education and childcare will be the top priorities. The GOP, though, says it would also like to include tax cuts. Republicans are proposing what they call sweeping tax relief for middle-class families, everything from cutting income tax to capping property taxes. Democrats point out that the governor's last budget included historic tax cuts of $600 million. We'll have more on what the governor proposes and how it could impact your family throughout the day here on Channel 3.
Good morning, everyone. It is 7:09. A lot to talk about, of course, but today is just increasing sunshine and a colder feel. But we got 2 first alert weather days. The first one, of course, tomorrow, and we're expecting it to start off tomorrow as snow. But let's show you how today unfolds. With high pressure building in, those clouds will move out, the winds will relax some. I know it's been very windy the past 24 hours, but then as high pressure slides to our east tomorrow morning, here comes the snow and eventually a wintry mix. Now for today, it's the colder feel we're tracking with that increasing sunshine at least through the front part of the day before clouds start to arrive. So dress for that feel this morning. Single digits in lower teens, and then feeling in the 20s this afternoon, but your thermometer may say something different, like 30 for a high in Woodbury. We're looking at Southington, about 31 degrees. Same goes for New Britain. So all these numbers below average for this time of year. So yeah, a very chilly day on tap, but at least it won't be as windy as it was yesterday. But nonetheless, all it takes is a little wind to make it feel very painfully cold outside. So we're breaking down the timing of both upcoming first alert weather days in just a few minutes. Tracy?